All right, we finally had the vote. Donald Trump has been acquitted in the Senate in his impeachment trial. It's actually, impeachment happens in the House, as you know, and he already was impeached. This was his trial to convict him in the Senate, and he has not been convicted. They needed a 2/3 vote. We always knew that was going to be very, very hard to do, and the way that it would have been done is if more witnesses were called. The Republicans refused to call more senators. Refused to call more witnesses. And then at the end, they were voting on nothing, a non-trial. It was the first ever trial held in the Senate where there were no witnesses. So the Republicans basically wanted to shut it down as quickly as possible, vote with the president, regardless of the obvious facts that he asked for a favor from a political favor from a foreign country, which is clearly, definitely 100% illegal. But the Republicans are voting based on politics and not based on facts, legal arguments, or the Constitution. Except one Republican did vote against Donald Trump. And so people thought maybe some of the so-called moderates like Murkowski would vote against them. Well, Murkowski voted to not even have any witnesses. So she voted twice with Trump. Not remotely moderate. She gave Trump everything that he wanted. Then it was Susan Collins. Oh, well, she's a real moderate. She's going to vote against Trump. No. Yesterday she came out and said, I'm going to acquit him. Why? I think he's learned his lesson. Hilarious. Ridiculous. Only the dumbest person in America or the most disingenuous would say something like that. By the way, more details on all of these stories in the live show that's at 6 o'clock Eastern every single day. So that's coming up in a little bit. And so that's, of course, youtube.com/TYT and TYT.com. So get all the details. But Susan Collins comically votes to acquit Donald Trump, pretending that he's been chastened. Trump tells reporters off the record later, I haven't learned any lesson. What do you mean? Everything I did was, quote, perfect. Please, Senator Collins, you're a joke. Okay, so who was the one Republican that voted against Trump? Mitt Romney. He voted to acquit on the obstruction charge, but on the abuse of office, he said it was an appalling abuse of the public trust. He voted with the 47 senators who caucus with the Democrats. So they got 48 votes, obviously well short of the 67 they needed. But apparently Donald Trump had done a celebratory press conference. He was ready for it to say, ha ha, I got all the Republicans to vote with me. You guys got nothing. But when Romney broke into the other camp and said that he had abused his office, they canceled the press conference. Yes, it's a tiny, tiny win. But I'll tell you, I'll give you one other win that's important. The Democratic Party is now doing what I suggested a long time ago. If the Senate won't call John Bolton, finally a House Democrat said today, well, then we'll call him. We'll subpoena him. Of course. But so often the Democratic Party does not do things that are an of course. Bolton talking about how Trump, in fact, did do the Ukraine deal. It was a political favor. It was for his own election. But not only that, apparently Bolton has information about personal deals he might have done with China and Turkey. So should we hear about that in the House? Absolutely, and as soon as possible. So this impeachment of Donald Trump is now officially over. He'll declare victory, and of course he's telling reporters already, I told you it was a hoax. No, what we all know is that the Republican Party are people who do not care about principles, policies. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is their own careers, and they protect themselves from primaries by voting with Donald Trump. That's what happened today. But all of the amazing details coming up in just a little bit, 6 o'clock, top of the hour, youtube.com/TYT and TYT.com. You'll see all of it. And by the way, to get all the Young Turks, TYT.com/join in these amazing times. All right, we'll see you then.